Live from Wisconsin, it's Play That Rock and Roll.
What this was is the Tubes 1981 to 2005 audio and video lot. I bought this on BackstageAuctions.com, and it was from the Fee Waybill Collection. Fee Waybill is the lead singer of the Tubes, one of my favorite bands. I've seen him in concert a couple of times. And on his Instagram, I saw he had an auction going of all of his old outfits and T-shirts and various, pieces of merchandise and memorabilia from his own personal collection that I guess he was looking to offload. Maybe he's downsizing at his house, whatever the case. He was just selling all this Tubes stuff. And yeah, I wanted to see if I could get in on that. I think most of the expensive items were his various outfits, and I didn't bid on any of those. The only thing I put a bid in for was his video collection, because that includes a couple of Tubes concert films, which I want to own regardless if they belong to him or not. These were things that I would have purchased if I had come across in the wild anyway. So it's just sort of an added bonus that Fee Waybill himself used to own them, but now they're mine. If you bought anything in that Fee Waybill auction, please post in the comments below. Tell me what you got. Because there was some very cool stuff on there that I wish I could afford, but frankly, most of the stuff was a little out of my price range. The reason I was able to get this video and audio collection was because a lot of people aren't buying physical media stuff, and there weren't any other bids on it, so I really didn't have to go too high to get the lot. So let's take a look at what was all in the lot. So to open this box, I'm going to use my Rambo First Blood Part 2 letter opener. What else would this be? Again, this is Fee Waybill's personal video and audio collection that he sold as part of his auction on BackstageAuctions.com. Top open here. Oh, I see styrofoam peanuts. I can't even remember the last time I opened something that was packaged with styrofoam peanuts. All right, little cardboard. Don't need that. Literally, styrofoam peanuts. Okay. So we got bubble wrap. That's the bubble wrap. Now we've got just the plastic wrap. Great. I'm going to cut this open too. Sure do. My letter opener again. Okay, the first two things in the collection, we have two editions of the Tubes Wild West Show concert DVD. I have not seen this, but I have the live album version of it, so I've listened to it before. This is something I definitely have wanted to see because it's them playing their songs along with a bunch of Western themed songs like Riders in the Sky and the Magnificent Seven. And the only thing I really remember about this live album is that they do a country joke version of She's a Beauty before playing it properly. So they do the first verse of She's a Beauty in this exaggerated country style that's very much meant to be funny, and it is. They do that. I think he says just kidding, and then they play She's a Beauty the proper way. This was released originally I think in 2005, and it says filmed at Shepherd's Bush Empire in London, December 6th, 2004. So this is a 2004 concert. Okay, what's next? Full, unedited, and uncensored version of Ladies and Gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains. Okay? The Fabulous Stains is a film from 1981 that features Fee Waybill. I remember hearing about it on a podcast I used to listen to and love called 80s All Over. They talked about what a great movie this is, and ever since then I've wanted to see it, but I think this is kind of hard to come by. Here, let me read this. This is not the cut for TV version. This is the almost never seen uncut review board version. Well, that's pretty cool. Okay, that for some people might be the gem of the whole collection here. Hopefully I get a chance to talk about this on the channel sometime. Very interesting from Fee Waybill's own personal collection. Okay, 2 items that had I found out in the wild, I absolutely would have paid money for. So already this collection's pretty cool. But let's go on with some of the other stuff that's here. And we have a VHS tape. More than just a concert, it's an event. The Tubes live at the Greek VHS tape. Includes their super hits, Don't Touch Me There and White Punks on Dope. Hell yeah. If you've never seen the Tubes perform live, here's your chance to see one of the most provocative, creative, hilarious, energetic, and highly entertaining groups in rock and roll history performing their outlandish hits. How cool. Yeah, this is before Outside Inside, before Completion Backwards Principle. I'll be honest, those are the albums that I mostly know the Tubes from, but I also absolutely love White Punks on Dope and What Do You Want From Life and Don't Touch Me There. Yeah. This is awesome. This is from their early days. 1979, I think. Whoa, this is a cool piece to have. Now, here's a series of like books on tape. We have 2 copies of Every Trace by Greg Main, read by Fee Waybill. See, this is an aspect of Fee's career that I'm not familiar with. I did not know he did readings for audiobooks. Here's another one. 2 copies of Out of Body, a novel of suspense by Thomas Baum, read by Fee Waybill. And then down here, little write-up for Fee. Fee Waybill is best known as the lead singer of the musical group The Tubes, which had numerous hits, including the international smash She's a Beauty. Fee's acting roles include the feature film Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and ladies and gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains, and television appearances on Private Eye and Get the Picture. He continues to be a creative force in the music business with his solo career and a songwriting partnership with Richard Marx. Yeah, did you know that about Fee? He wrote songs with Richard Marx in the late 80s, including, most famously, Edge of a Broken Heart by Vixen, which is a killer song from that era. I love that line, if I want to cry, I don't need your shoulder. That's excellent. So I'm not going to read... Oh my god, no, I am going to read this one too. Okay, so this is Out of Body. Denton Hake, what a name. Denton Hake has just been paroled from prison for a rape he has no memory of committing. Fee, what were you doing, man? Like... Were these good paydays? What the heck? Moving in with his reluctant brother and sexually restless sister-in-law, he tries to rebuild his life, despite being surrounded by a disturbing community. If he can only see the face of his killer, he will know his enemy and be able to save himself from hanging. Okay, I might be finding an old cassette tape player to listen to these on, because that sounds batshit crazy. Okay, I will tell you, had I found these out in the wild, no, I don't think I would have bought them. I would have read them and laughed, but I don't think I would have bought them. But there is one more, audio book here. This is called Shock Rock. And it is read by Joan Jett, Fee Waybill, Greg Keane, Brian Grillo, Scott Ian, Bill Mummy, Bruce Johnston, and Jeff Gelb. Put on your headphones and thrill, if you dare, to the electrifying sound of shock rock, where martyred musical super legends return from the dead at 120 decibels, where radio stations sponsors ghastly giveaways, and where other earthly pirates bootleg souls, not music. where people are very strange and no one gets out alive. Or do they? Find out in these 8 terror-filled tales by some of the best fright masters in the business. Fee Waybill landed several hits as lead singer of the Tubes, including She's a Beauty and Talk to You Later, and has recorded several solo records and formed a writing partnership with Richard Marx. These were originally sold for $24.95. Yeah, I don't think I would have paid that then or now. This, I think I'm most interested in listening to. There's some interesting people on here besides just Fee. We got a box here. It looks like these are going to be vinyl singles, 45s. Yeah. Ooh, okay. White Punks on Dope, plus Don't Touch Me There, and What Do You Want From Life? Yep, awesome. Okay, that's a cool one to have. Oh, wow, okay. The Tubes single, I Saw Her Standing There, their Beatles cover, which is a really good version of that song. Oh, plus their crime medley. Okay. Themes from Dragnet, Peter Gunn, Perry Mason, The Untouchables. Oh, that is awesome. You know, I saw the Tubes twice in concert, and both times they were great, but I imagine their shows from these days were like nothing else. Prime Time and No Way Out. All right. Not familiar with that one. What a cover. Take a look at that. Baby being taken care of by a robot with a TV screen. Commentary. All right, here we go. Promotional copy, not for sale. What do you want from life? Mono and stereo. Got it. Okay. There. Cool packaging. Okay, and then we have a stack of Fee Waybill, You're Still Laughing singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all in various conditions. Yeah, Fee Waybill, You're Still Laughing. Fee Waybill, Who Said Life Would Be Pretty. This is from his solo album that he put out after the Tubes broke up in the mid-'80s. And I have not listened to that solo album, even though I'm a Fee Waybill fan. So I have been meaning to get around that. So, okay, I've got a couple of 45s that, at least previously, used to belong to Fee Waybill. Well, okay, what a cool collection. This is a DVD I just want, and now I've got 2 copies. This Fabulous Stains bootleg could be really cool. I don't know about how this movie's been released. I don't know if the unedited version has been released properly, so this might be a very cool piece to own. And them in their like heyday before they even had their crossover radio hits, I didn't know that's what this concert film covered, so this is definitely something I want to watch. So I think that could be really cool. And then you got these goofball audiobooks, which, man, I don't know what to do with, but here, take a look at this while I look at this. Look at this cover. The Tubes Wild West Show. You know, you don't do something like this unless you have some genuine love for whatever genre or aesthetic that this is. So I'm sure they're poking fun at it, but they wouldn't go through all this hassle if they didn't also love it. So I'm sure this is absolutely a passion project. And yeah, let's take a look. Let me get the TV back on here. Okay. Now we're going to turn the screen here best we can. Here we go. The country version of She's a Beauty.
Here's one you might remember with all new country style. Well, step right up and kiss my grits, because it's all just about your tits. If you like, you can kiss my ass, and if you don't, you better get out of town fast. You just saddle up that old gray mare and pretend that I was never there, and I'll get back to drinking lots of beer. Just kidding.
It's amazing. I haven't listened to this in probably a couple of years, but I remember that whole verse, and it cracked me up the first time I heard it. And now watching them here, just great. Saw them in 2013 at Waterfest in Oshkosh. And then I saw them just a couple of years ago at Summerfest here in Milwaukee, and I posted a review of that show on the channel. And what I said on that in that video was, anytime the Tubes are in town, you gotta go see them. And that's just true, you know. They are a do not skip band for me. And unfortunately, they just don't come around here that often, so I don't get too many opportunities. I saw Fee one other time. I saw him with John Payne and his version of Asia at Wisconsin State Fair in 2017. John had rounded up a couple of lead singers of 80s bands, Lou Gramm, Fee Waybill, Steve Algeri, who had sang with Journey for a while there, Bobby Kimball from Toto, and they called themselves the Rock Pack, and they just did a night full of their hits, and it was great. And Fee was like the standout of the show. I was most happy when he was on stage. I wish they gave him a couple more songs, but I think he only sang 3. But that was a fun night. And then I'm going to show you one more thing before you get out of here. I'm going to flip this camera around so you can see my secondary TV with my VCR, and we're going to watch a few moments from their Live at the Greek VHS tape. Playing.
San Francisco, ladies and gentlemen, the Tubes.
Actually, I think I remember meeting both of those guys after their show at Waterfest in Oshkosh. What I remember about that show in Oshkosh was it was a little controversial. It was in 2013. At that time, Wisconsin had an evil governor named Scott Walker. During his tenure, his reign of terror, he passed something called Act 10, which was a huge attack on public sector unions, and he's hated here for that still. And the Tubes played Wisconsin not too long after that. Fee follows politics and is an outspoken guy. So during the show, he started talking smack about Scott Walker.
Now, I don't want to get political, but since your guy, Walker, became governor... Man, that guy's a fucking bonehead. I'm sorry.
The problem was that the Tubes were playing in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, which is like the most conservative area of the whole state. And they booed him. And that surprised him.
Oh, it's kind of a mixed response there. I thought Tubes fans would definitely be down on Walker.
I was cheering. I was having a great time with what he was saying, but unfortunately, all the boomers in Oshkosh didn't appreciate it and weren't into what he was saying. Oh, there he is. Yeah, hell yeah.
Good evening, Los Angeles, and welcome to the Remote Control Tubes.
Dude, this is fantastic. This is why I love concert films. I wasn't playing back then, so I don't have any memories of theme bands in their primes like this. Like, they were good when I saw them, but, you know, it's a different type of show. And the only way I can experience what it was like for them in their heyday is through concert films. And unfortunately, not a lot of concert films that go on VHS even make the jump to DVD. Frustrating. After that show in Oshkosh, they were signing autographs. And that's where I brought my copy of Completion Backwards Principle. I wanted to get that signed. And then I got to Fee, who, I'll be honest, is my favorite. And I didn't know what to ask him, so I thought it'd be kind of funny, and I asked him because I love the music video for that song "Sushi Girl," which is absolutely not something you can get away with making today. It's not very politically correct, but I still love that video. It's very funny, and it's a spectacle. All their videos are spectacles. So, you know, I asked him jokingly, "Hey, did you guys win any awards for the Sushi Girl music video?" And I was about to say, because you should have won all of the awards, because I love that video. I didn't get to that part before he interrupted me and said, like, he had the marker, and he interrupts me, and in a very sullen way, he looks up at me and he goes, "No, we never won anything." And then I finally said, "Well, you should have won. You should have won all the awards. I love that video." And by that point, he was done signing his name, and he was sort of like, "Thanks," or whatever. So, I kind of struck a nerve or something. Well, whatever. It was funny. Like, at this point in my life, I almost prefer awkward interactions with celebrities or whoever, because you get a little story out of it. And it was a funny little moment. Not a big deal. What was interesting, though, was just last year, when I was in Nashville for Rockin' Pod, I interviewed Brian Forsyth from Kix, and he told me he had great experiences touring with many other bands, several other bands. He was only treated poorly by 2 bands. And I was like, well, who were they? And one of the bands he mentioned, the Tubes, specifically Fee.
Tubes.
Oh, wow.
But I shouldn't say the Tubes. It was just Fee Waybill.
Fee?
Yeah, it was kind of curmudgeon.
So I guess he's known as being kind of a grouch. But here's what I'm saying. You know, they didn't do this kind of stuff when I saw them recently, in recent years. But back then, they were a wild-ass show. So this is a gem to have. I'm glad we got it. And I hope I will have more opportunities to talk about Fee on my channel. That's it for the unboxing and the play testing. The VHS works, the DVD works. I've got a bootleg copy of Fabulous Stains. That's going to be interesting to check out, plus some audiobooks. If you want to see more of any of that stuff on the channel, post a comment, let me know. I'll try and figure out a way to, you know, utilize this material on the channel. And this is all stuff that man owned in his personal private collection. So I am watching a tape that Fee himself would have watched a couple of times, and I think that's pretty cool. That's a fun little thing about being a fan when you get a hold of stuff like that. It's just a little added bonus to already good material. So Fee, if you're seeing this, thanks for putting that lot out there. I promise I will take good care of your stuff. I promise I will not offload all of it onto eBay. The audiobooks might go. I'll be honest. All right, that's going to be it for me. Keep rocking. Have a good night.